So I'll bet you're wondering why I am kneeling in front of the freeze dryer. Well, it broke. We moved it upstairs and something happened while we were moving it. We had it in our breezeway, so when we were moving it upstairs, something either jiggled loose or whatever, but it's not freezing. So Harvest Right, the company, has on their website that you have to take off the panels and you have to test the relays if it's doing this specific thing. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to pull off the panels and then we're going to test the relays and see if they work. And then when they don't work, because unless it's just a wire that's come loose, most likely it's the relay that's down, then we have to contact Harvest Right and have them ship us a new relay board that we can then install, and then hopefully it'll be back up and running. So I'm going to get started pulling this thing apart, and I've got it completely unplugged. Take off the pump air line, and we got to find the right Allen wrench. Okay, I found my keys. I'd actually put them in the truck. So I'm just going to go around and remove all of these Allen screws. It's an 1/8 inch Allen wrench, and we just want to be really careful we don't strip them. So that's why I wanted to find the right size. These kind of screws are notoriously difficult to get out. Basically have to drill them out if you strip them out, because there's nothing to grab onto with a set of pliers. Okay, let's see. That has room. Okay, has a little bit of play. So let's just set that there. Hopefully it'll stay. Now we gotta get the top off. I think it just pops up. There it slides. Looks like a slider. So it had a little flange that went in here that these screws were holding it. So this is now upside down. That is what I need to test. So I'm going to get a mirror and stick it in there and then run my little tests. But if you wanted to see what the inside of it looks like, not too complex. Okay, so check what I found out. This, let me just show you guys up close. So this is the front display. So you guys are used to seeing that. And this is the circuit board inside. And I found that this whole thing will just slide up out of there. And we can flip it over. And we can see these are the relays. So each one of them is labeled. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus without the thing sliding. So that relays for the condenser. So condenser, vacuum. And then the next one over is for the freezer, or the heater, sorry. And then the next one over is the freezer, and then they've got a fourth one, or fifth one in there, I can count, that doesn't have any wires on it yet, that is for future expansion. They have it labeled drain, so that these should be able to, in the future, be able to drain themselves instead of us having to manually drain it after each one. So, I basically have to, I can get that so it stays. Plug it back in. I went ahead and I put a screw back in just to hold that back panel up. Oh. And I gotta flip it on. Of course it's upside down. That's okay. With the newest firmware in here that they've put in, all we do is we tap the little leaf button and we get this screen and we can turn each of the things on and off. And I think if I remember correctly, I have to hit this auxiliary relay. And turn that on, and then I should see an LED light. So that is for the drain. Okay, so I heard a little click. I know that that one's working. Come back to the front, turn the auxiliary relay off, and then we'll turn on the freeze. Now, light came on showing that the relay should be working, but we suspect it's not. So what we're going to do is we're going to move both of the wires here for the freezer. I'm sorry, is that the freezer? No, that's the condenser. Which is, I think, the freezer. We're gonna move those two wires over to the drain valve and see if that relay is still working by manually turning it on and see if it starts getting cold. And if it does, then we know this relay for the condenser is bad. Now, I don't know why that works, but that's what they show us to do. So, I'm going to do that, but I need both hands. And I need to turn this. Okay. You guys, see if I can position this so you guys can actually see me moving the wires. I'm going to be blocking a lot of it because there's a lot going on in here. So we're going to unplug black wire. Put it on the drain. And plug the white wire. Put it on the drain. And I probably should have turned it off for this, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Wait for it to power down. And we'll turn it back on. Wait for it to turn back on. And then I'm just going to go into that same menu I showed you guys before. And this time I'm going to turn back on the auxiliary relay. And that is temporarily turning on the condenser. So we're going to let this sit here for a few minutes and see if this thing starts getting cold. And if it does, then we know that this relay is bad and needs to be replaced. So, back in a few minutes. Okay guys, so I talked to Harvest Right, and unfortunately we weren't able to diagnose the problem over the phone with them, you know, walking me through the different things. And so unfortunately we're gonna have to ship it back. We picked it up locally, but it has to go all the way back to Harvest Right, and they'll diagnose, fix the problem, and ship it back to us. So luckily I saved all my shipping materials. I'd highly recommend that anytime you guys buy anything big like this, where it's kind of there's a possibility that something might break. Finding the exact shipping materials, if I needed to, would be a little bit harder. So I'm gonna get that shipped up. I gotta ship the pump, the hoses, and the freeze dryer back. I gotta say though that Harvest Right was incredibly helpful, incredibly responsive, great to work with. I have no complaints there. They've even checked up on me. It's taken me a few days to get everything together so I can get it packed up, and they checked and make sure that, you know, I was still working on that. So great customer service. I hope to get it back to them and get it back soon so we can keep going with freeze drying, but it'll take as long as it takes. So I'm gonna go get the hoses, get the pump and everything, and get it all packaged up, and let them know it's ready. These banders are pretty cool. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. So, fit that underneath, lift that up, that goes in there, this goes through there, and then you just ratchet it. Till you've got it as tight as you want. And squeeze, and that cuts it if it's in there all the way. There we go. Voila. So that's it. I will let Harvest Right know to get a shipping label and schedule a pickup, and hopefully they'll come and pick it up. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll give you an update on what happens and what's going on, and show you guys when we get it back. But thanks for watching.